Alright, so it's currently April 17th. I've just filmed my Succession Season 4 Episode 4 reaction, and starting today, I'm going to be going for the challenge of getting 10 platinums within 10 days. None of them are too ridiculous. I obviously couldn't go for any games that were like 20 hours long. So I've managed to find 10 games that I believe are a reasonable amount of length in how long it takes to get the platinum. So I'm about to go off and play the first game of the 10. I only really have one rule for this video, and that's that I can't play any shovelware games. So any of those games that kind of, I hate those games so much, so I wouldn't be playing that even if I wasn't doing these challenges. But any games that you just kind of spam X to get the platinum, those kind of games, they are off the table. All 10 games have to be an actual game that someone put actual effort into creating. That's the only rule. Yeah, game 1 of 10, guys. I know what it's going to be, so let's go do that. So first up on the list was Submerged Hidden Depths, and this was a pretty fun, goofy game about hopping around trying to save plants. It was a story between a brother and a sister, and they were mainly going between these different islands because the entire city has been submerged. I mean, spoiler alert. And at its core, it was basically a platformer. You do some traversal, you figure out some basic puzzles here and there. And you hop between these 9 different islands and you have to figure out how to save the island, save the greenery, save the trees. And that's basically it. It's a very simple game at its core, but actually kind of enjoyable to go through. Now, as for the important part, the trophies, there were 15 in total, including the platinum. And in came our first trophy of the challenge hairdresser for simply changing our hairstyle. And naturally, there were trophies for changing the style of our boat and the style of our clothes as well. And of course, I've got a big brain, so to save time down the line, I made sure to just keep an eye out for any collectibles, and I could just mop those up very quickly once I'd completed the game. And I was really starting to enjoy the game. I mean, look at how much fun my dad's having with it as well. And there weren't many other trophies while going through the campaign, so I just focused on trying to finish the main story. And I think we were off to a good start because the story only took me around 3.5 hours, which I don't think was too bad. I didn't want it being like 50 hours and I got stuck on some random puzzles, so good start. So I rolled on up, or sailed on up to the final island of the game, saved some more plant life, and there it was in all of its glory, 9 of 9, and the gold trophy conclusion for completing the game. But of course we're on a timer, so no rest for the wicked. We went straight back to trying to get more trophies, like looking at random items, putting flowers in our hair. We gotta look nice, of course. And then you had the obvious trophies regarding collectibles, like climb to all these towers, find all these outfits, find all these flowers, find all these books, find all these animals. You get it, there were trophies linked to a lot of collectibles, which is fine for me because more trophies for me. But there weren't many trophies left, so I buckled up and went around finding the remainder of the collectibles in this kind of tiny open world. I'd say open world. It is very, very small, but there's a lot of collectibles to be had. Certain landmarks you have to go to. And then getting to the final trophy, all I had to do was get all upgrades for the boat. I mean, the upgrades just made you go a tiny bit faster around the tiniest world ever, but it's fine because we got the final trophy of the game and our first platinum of the 10 platinum journey, Hidden Depths. So yeah, next up was Fox the Game, or Spirit of the North, but basically Fox Simulator. And this is like a basic third-person adventure game where you just run around some grass and maybe some water. And I only played for an hour or so, so I've got a few basic storyline trophies and for getting some new powers. Day 1 of 10 is finished. I'm feeling pretty good. We made good progress. We got the first platinum, which was the main goal, and did like a little bit of a second game just to kind of get the flow going all the way up to the night. I think I'm going to put that game on hold for a bit though and just jump into a couple of maybe the like quicker platinums tomorrow. Fingers crossed that I'm not here tomorrow being like, oof, we didn't make any progress. Hopefully none of my family members die within the next 10 days, because that would kind of put the video dead in its tracks. But we'll see. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Oh yeah. Are you excited? Oh, okay, cool. Annapurna, let's go! So yeah, next up was one of the most cracked games I think I've ever played. I don't even know how to really explain this one, so in my mind I just went with the Mighty Boosh mixed with Star Wars is somehow the best way I can go about explaining this game. Starts off fairly simple, and before long you've been kidnapped and you've become a rock star and you've got to play the best gig in the galaxy to save the galaxy. Yeah, it's kind of like you're on drugs the entire time, but in like a really fun way. Like shrooms over heroin, we'll go with. I mean, it even has Cersei herself doing the voice of this character. What more could you really want?
I'm a wonder. Make no mistake.
Are you God?
Darling, you are divine. I am not.
Now, as for the trophies, I only had about an hour or so until I had a friend coming over, so I was only able to get 3 of the story-related trophies. Then he came over and we binge-watched a ton of shows for about, well, 6 hours, to be honest. But once that scumbag had left, it was straight back to getting trophies, so I got a brand new gold trophy for trying out new clothes. Look at my guy, he looks so cool. Got a trophy for jumping into this vagina thing. And I just continued through the game, really enjoying it. It was nice to just play a wacky, weird, strange, delusional, drug-ridden, chemical-brained kind of game. So yeah, I recommend this one. It's good fun, but you won't have a clue really what you're looking at. Now there's some very obvious collectibles in the game, so I got a trophy for collecting all of those. It's very hard to miss them. And then I just went on to complete the game, did my final gig of the galaxy, and then got another gold trophy for simply completing the game. And then came the cleanup, which literally took me about 15 minutes. One trophy just consisted of me playing my guitar and lighting up all these lights, making the town look very pretty and beautiful. For another trophy, I just had to get stage fright and literally stand there and do nothing and then get booed off stage. Another trophy I was actually kind of close to doing the first time, but I just missed it. But I had to jump up on this little archway and got a trophy for that. And then the final trophy, I just had to jam out with this snowman. He was loving life. I mean, he's going to melt in about 3 days, but he was loving life. And that gave me my next platinum, the Artful Escape, all done. Day 2 finished. I'm going to go to bed, watch an episode of Barry, because season 4 just dropped, so I'm going to start season 4 of Barry. Decent day. I didn't know if I was going to be able to get that platinum by the end of the day, but then I saw that the mop-up was like really quick, that it was like 20 to 30 extra minutes. It wasn't very long. So platinum 2 done in 2 days. So far, so good. Can we continue on this pace? Who knows? Good night, people. Wherever you are watching. Good night. Day 3, and I thought it was best to just try and wrap up this Fox Simulator game, get it done so it's not lingering on my mind, because, oh my god, this started to test my patience. This far outstayed its welcome, and I was just getting trophies that you were inevitably going to get at some point through the game anyway, but I started to feel the length of this game. But the game just felt so clunky, like it wouldn't jump where you'd want it to jump. It just felt really slow and like a PS1 game at times. So I made sure to just keep an eye out for any collectibles, which in this case was shamans. You had to bring their spirits back to their rotting corpses, which was kind of fun. There was your random trophies for doing random things on certain levels, some more basic story ones, and of course a trophy where you have to stand around for 5 minutes looking at these amazing graphics, I guess. There was a bunch of other trophies I was going to get naturally for going through the game anyway, so they came, as you probably tell, naturally. And then came more trophies where I had to stand around. This time I'd stand for 5 minutes with a staff in my mouth, so that's really cool. Then there were 2 more trophies simply linked to completing the game. And in total there were 28 shamans that I had to go and help, so I made sure to go and do that and lay them to rest. I'm sure they're very happy about that. There were ancient murals that I had to go and find. There was even a trophy where I had to stay in the air for a certain amount of time, and I saw a video where he just basically bounced up and down on this teleporter thing, so I did that. And then came the final trophy of the game, which was to find all these spirits in this spirit world. Using a video again, I managed to find the final one, and then got the next platinum, Master of Light. Ugh. Yeah, you've probably heard of this game. Metal Hellsinger was doing the rounds during award season for games. It's a rhythm-based shooter, mainly focusing on heavy metal. Well, actually only focusing on heavy metal. It's called Metal Hellsinger. And once you get the hang of it, this game is a lot of fun. It does take a level or two to really get into how the game kind of works. Because going for these early trophies in the game, you can see how much I suck. And I'm not saying I'm a master or anything like later down the line, but I was terrible early on in the game. And as for the trophies, there were 29 in total, and most of them focused on hit streaks and killing bosses at the end of every level, just the basic stuff you'd expect from a game like this. I also went for some of the Torment trophies, which are smaller challenges that you can unlock after completing a certain level. And there was a trophy later down the line to complete every single Torment, and some of them I had to get 3 stars on, or 3 skulls on. But other than that, I just continued to blast my way through all of the levels, and most trophies just came naturally. I do the same with every game, where I don't really look too deeply into the trophies early on. I just try to check if there's any missables. If there's not, I just play through the campaign and enjoy it for what it is, and that's what I did with this game. And I played for about 3 hours and got most of the missions done minus 1 or 2. And I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to platinum the game, so I just figured that'd be a good place to stop as any. I'm off to bed now, but pretty good start. We've got some of the more common trophies, and on the second to last boss. What are you growling at? Do you not like heavy metal? Is that what it is? I think you're more of a Doja Cat kind of creature. Even though I do respect that, to be fair, Ellie. Respect. Doja Cat. Katara, you're a bit of a My Chemical Romance kind of gal, aren't you? Hell yeah. Yeah, half the trophies already. We're doing well. Good night. Say good night for day 3. Well done, Ellie. Well done. Alright, videos for the day finished and filmed, so it's time to watch an episode of Barry, eat some lunch, which you'll be getting. Not a morsel of it's going to you. Not a morsel. Maybe some morsels. And then it's time to get on with platinum number 4. Platinum number 4, Ellie. We can do this. Next up was Toem, one of the cutest, most adorable games I've ever played. I can't stress how much fun I had playing this game, even early on, like pretty much straight away. It is a collectathon game, so you're basically just going around taking photographs of different animals and creatures, and then you're told to go take photographs of certain areas. You have to figure out where those areas actually are. You'll get certain missions where they're like, go photograph a jumping gazelle, but it's hidden by some random... I don't even know, that's not a good example at all, but go photograph a Pringles can, and then you have to find the Pringles can. Trust me guys, if you're into these kind of games, then you're going to have a lot of fun. I mean, come on, my guy literally went to some raves. He went raving. There was a ghost that challenged to scare me. If I did get scared, I was forced to take her out on a date. Side note, we had the best date ever. I took her to a catwalk. You're dating a ghost and you go into the catwalk as the date. How are you not sold on this yet? Anyway, as you'd expect, the trophies were fairly easy. Go here, do this, unlock this area, pet this animal, things like that. There were plenty of photo challenges that you had to go through, so I made sure to just try and find them all myself without searching any up, because that's basically the point of the game, is to find all the collectibles. Guys, I've only just started this game. I'm addicted to it already. I have an addictive nature, so going for all these stamps and all these cosmetics and all these creatures. I'm going to enjoy this, I can tell. Look at my guy as well. He's got a foam finger. He'd be looking pretty cool. On to the next area, get a trophy. Take a picture of this incredible looking bird. Get a trophy. Go underwater and take a picture of this spooky boat. We're going to call it the Black Rock from Lost. Get a trophy. Oh, you've walked 1,000 miles. Have a gold trophy for that, apparently. Oh, you've done more photograph challenges. Have a trophy. 49 trophies of running around, taking photographs of different items. This entire game is based upon getting collectibles, and all the trophies attached to the game are to do with those collectibles. But yeah, this wasn't a super long game. It took me around 3 hours to get through it entirely, and that's with heavily searching as much of the areas as I can. And even then I missed a ton of trophies. But eventually I got to the final area of the game and completed Toem. What a game, what a game. And what a great game this was. I had so much fun. I was never bored at any point. Those 3 hours completely flew by. So bravo to the development team of this one. Hell yeah. Went back to mop up the game and got all these trophies for taking photographs of certain buildings and certain characters throughout the world. I think all in all I only had to search up 2 individual collectibles, which isn't too bad. I don't think that's too bad out of the hundreds that there are in this game. As for more obscure trophies, I had to replace this frame with a picture of myself for Employee of the Month. I had to watch this snail win a race by honking a horn, don't even ask. I had to take a photo of every single animal in the world, of course. And this trophy I did need to search up as well, but I had to find the developers of the game and they were hidden in some place I was never ever going to find. And then for the final trophy of the game, I had to get every single individual item of clothing in the game. That gave me the next platinum of this 10 platinum journey. And that is Toem Platinumed. Very good game. Probably my favourite out of the ones I've played so far. I don't know why, I love collecting stuff on games and trying to find them myself. I had to search up 2 items myself, and I had to search up 1 trophy as well. So 3 things I had to search. Other than that, I managed to get everything myself, all the animals, all the stamps. And yeah, it took me 4.5 hours, so not too bad. So that is Submerged, Platinum 1, The Artful Escape, Spirit of the North, Metal Hellsinger, I've taken a bit of a break on, and then Toem. I'm actually, I think, going to play the DLC as well because it was that much fun. So I feel like I need to photograph all animals to get more trophies. Eddie, I'm trying to photograph Pomeranian. Please, I'm trying to photograph Pomeranian. There we go. Okay, no, you just want attention yourself, don't you? Alright, so I've run into a bit of an issue here. The next platinum was going to be Broken Age. I was getting ready to download it and start using because that was about 10 hours estimate to platinum. This isn't Broken Age, by the way. But I have already popped 2 trophies on that game, and I don't really want to add any games that I've already popped a trophy on, so we're not going to be doing that. I did find this game. I'm trying to find a new game to replace it, basically. I found this one. It's no longer home, but I just checked, and the platinum's 45 minutes. It looks like a cool game, but I think 45 minutes is, it feels like cheating. So I'm going to try and find another game now to replace Broken Age. I'll probably play one of the other games for now and then find a game tomorrow, but I need to find one. So any here that stand out with a reasonable time? I feel like if it's getting to like 20 hours long for a platinum, that's kind of pushing it. Then I'm just setting myself up for failure. Decided to load up the other game instead, which I was going to play tomorrow, but I'm going to start The Last Campfire. I won't be able to platinum it tonight just because there's only about 2 hours left, but this is next on the list. Let's give it a try. So next up on the list was The Last Campfire. This was a fun little adventure game with a ton of puzzles thrown into the mix. I'd say a ton, it was mainly about like 20 to 30 puzzles. But each puzzle felt like someone had put in effort. They weren't throwaway puzzles, and they were puzzles that I could actually figure out, which is nice. It's not like playing The Witness where there's just no chance ever that you're going to figure out any of the puzzles unless you're a Megamind Stephen Hawking kind of guy. Puzzles that my basic brain could figure out, and it was a fun little journey. I really liked the style and aesthetic to this game, and the music was really good. It was a very simple story about this guy trying to find his way back home but taking on loads of lost travelers along the way. Very enjoyable game. And in came the first trophy very early on. Of course, that trophy was called A Journey Begins. I feel like every first trophy to all these games are called that. And honestly, there isn't much to say about the trophies during this, because every single trophy you have to get to finish the game. You will get the platinum by simply completing the game. It's one of those. So not much to really delve into about the variety of how these trophies were kind of laid out. But a very enjoyable game nonetheless, and the trophies just kind of came in after I did certain puzzles or cleared up certain paths and just ventured towards the end of the storyline, basically. Right, that is today complete. Got a good amount of this game done, probably like an hour and a half, which is decent. In like the second area, found 3 of these little guys, and I'll probably finish this one off tomorrow, and then maybe, I don't know, it's quite a busy day tomorrow. We'll go to the dentist. I've got someone coming over later, so it's going to be a bit of a busy day. We'll see if we can fit in a platinum. Time will tell. Good night for day, what is this, day 4? 5? I'm losing track. Too many platinums, I'm losing my mind. So this was unfortunately an utter failure of a day. I had to go to the dentist, which was miserable. I couldn't feel my face after doing it, so... Then I got home, walked the dogs like a good citizen, and then my dog decided to roll in some mud, poo, fox poo stuff. I don't know what was going on there. And then I only managed to fit in an hour or 2 of actual gaming and got a few trophies, but 0 platinums. We had our first day with 0 platinums because I had plans in the evening. This was on a Friday night, so I had plans, and those plans weren't getting platinums, unfortunately. They should have been, but they weren't. Now I had some lost time to make up for, so pretty early on I just made sure to get back on the game and try and get the platinum fairly early. Like I said, none of the trophies were too hard, it was just go through the game. Out of all the puzzles in the game, I only had to search up one, which was this one. I mean, if you've played the game, you know that that is basically the hardest puzzle out the entire game. And yeah, the one that was tricky was the one I had to search up, I get it. I'm a fool. After about an hour and a half, I went on to complete the game. Alright, I think we're getting towards the end of the... There it is. The Last Campfire. Hell yeah. Got the whole squad rolling up. Here we go, platinum number 5. The Last Campfire. Very good game, really enjoyed that one. I'm gonna get a bit of work done and then on to platinum number 6. Alright, filmed my 2 videos for the day. I was feeling extra lazy and it's time for the next game. This one I believe is only going to take an hour or 2 to platinum, so it's very short. I saved it. I was like, this one's going to be a Hail Mary if I need a platinum or 2 platinums in one day. This one's only 2-ish hours, but it is like an actual game. People put in effort just because the platinum's short. I want to say, yep, Annapurna as well. We love Annapurna. Let's go.
The golden of the early earth, when the morning meets the blue, all the light that once was ours, when I was home with you.
Yeah, we have another Annapurna published game. I love Annapurna games, what can I say? However, I didn't love this game as much as other Annapurna games. This is very much a point and click adventure. This is very much a game leaning towards trying to tell a compelling story, or more a heartfelt story I should say, and it does succeed in that. I did enjoy the story of this game. However, I think this game really depends on if that story does connect to you on a personal level, and for me it just kind of didn't. Again, kind of like The Last Campfire, I think the aesthetic and style of this game, and again the music is amazing in this game, is all done very well. However, for me, even when it was an hour long and it finished, I was like, okay, at least that's finished. And it was only an hour long. I did enjoy it and it was a very beautiful looking game, but for me it's just not a game I'd look back on and go, oh yeah, that was like one of the best experiences in gaming I've ever had. And going through the first time, I didn't want to search up every trophy just to try and get them all on one playthrough. I did want to enjoy the game, but these are the trophies I kind of got naturally on my first playthrough, like listening to all the radio stations, listening to the song on the boat. I had to click on this fan to turn it. I mean, these are just obvious ones that I kind of came across naturally. Knock the umbrella into the box. Oh yeah, sure, give me a gold for that, I guess. Click on this dolphin. Okay, yeah, sure, I'll do that, I guess. And then after around 55 minutes, I got towards the end of the game. And maybe I was starting to get too confident because I didn't really start to focus much on trophies and just try to relax. I shouldn't have been trying to relax. Alright, at this point it was time to fully buckle down and focus. The weekend was done, it was time to focus, so I focused on throwing ice cubes out of glass. Fun. Focused on turning on light bulbs. More fun. Focused on trying not to pay train fare. Focused on throwing planks of wood around. Then there were trophies for finding secrets on this certain part of the game. Trophy to be a fish and circle around a certain item. And then a trophy to fix the mirror on your first attempt, which I don't know how I didn't do that the first time, but here we go. Okay, here we have it, guys. This should be the platinum trophy after I get this one, which I've just got to spam X and not come up for air while I'm swimming, so wish me luck. Just spam X. Problem is, if I fail this, I have to go back like 15 minutes, which I don't fancy doing, so if my controller slipped out of my hand right now, because I'm holding it with one doing this. One hand. That's 15 minutes down. There we go. Never mind. Oh, all done. Platinum number 6. Again, another good game. I feel like we haven't played a bad one yet, which obviously I kind of planned for that. I didn't really want to play a bad game, but not one of my favorites that I've played out of the 6 so far, but definitely decent. Very, very short though. Like this only took about 50 minutes to get through and then maybe another 30 here for the platinum, so which I'm fine with. Again, I did plan for that. So yeah, I think the plan now is to maybe go back to Metal Hellsinger and get the platinum on that and just finish that one up. And then we are in the final stretch, ready to finish off this journey. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's go for 7. So yeah, back to Metal Hellsinger, and I only had 2 missions left to get through anyway, so I managed to get through that very quickly and get the game complete. And as for the cleanup, there wasn't too much to go through, it's just kind of get more streaks, but there was an option in the game where it basically means you never miss a beat. So any hard trophies that were focused on getting like a 50 hit streak or going through an entire level without missing a beat, which was meant to be the very hard trophy, it makes it void of being difficult because you can just slap on an option to make it, I mean, easy. So I even managed to get to rank 69 on a certain level, which, I mean, 69, hilarious in and of itself, but 69 out of how many people have played this game, I think that's pretty cool. Trophies to die certain ways. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the hardest part of this game was to do the torments. So they were a bit of a challenge, but I managed to get through them slowly but surely. I'd say out of all of them, there was maybe 2 or 3 that kind of gave me a bit of trouble. Then I had to do certain moves over and over again, like this jump dash I had to do 50 to 100 times, which was a bit annoying, but it was fine. And then somehow I managed to get through the entire game without dying 20 times. I mean, the game's not that hard, so that kind of makes sense. Anyone could do it, but I had to actually just focus on dying over and over again until I got that trophy. Then there was a couple of other random ones that I'd somehow managed to miss while going through the game. And then it came to one of the more trickier trophies where I had to kill 2 certain types of enemies, these angel things, with 1 shot of a gun. Luckily the shotgun has this pretty powerful move where you just blast a mini rocket out, and he was able to kill them both because I made sure to get them on low health beforehand. And then the final trophy of the game was to take down any of the bosses in the game using the sword. And again, just slap the game on easy mode, sit under him and get teabagged by him, which is fine because they'll give me a trophy for that. And then came the platinum trophies are a girl's best friend, which I believe actually, I hope that's true. And there is platinum number 7 achieved. Now I could go on to platinum number 8, but I'm debating going for the DLC on Tome. I enjoyed the game that much. Technically, I don't need to do this. I didn't plan to do DLC on any of these. I didn't think there would be any, to be fair. But I enjoyed the game that much that I'm thinking about it. I'm not thinking about it. I've already decided, actually. I'm not thinking about it at all. That was a lie. I'm going to go for the DLC here for tonight because there's only like 2 hours left anyway, so perfect amount of time. Let's do that. Yeah, okay, so I went to the DLC of Toem. I couldn't help myself. I won't harp on too much about the trophies, as they were pretty much just more of the same from the main game. Take photos of this person, take photos of that building, all that good stuff. But they put a good amount of effort into this DLC. It was free as well, so I thought, why not? That's premium free content right there, guys. Amazing. There were trophies to play every game at the carnival, to have your vacation clothes on and take a relaxing sit down by the moon. What a great vibe. What a great time. And then of course to do every single mission in the DLC. And at the end of it, we got hit with this nice, cute, heartfelt message. And I thought, you know what? Any games that these developers put out from this point onwards, I'm going to buy it. Oh, Jet the Far Shore. This felt like a game that I should have been absolutely in love with, and I did really enjoy it to a point, and we'll get to that point, don't worry. But the premise of this game is you're leaving your colony and you're going off to find a planet that's habitable, and you've maybe found said planet, and you've got to basically bring your colony onto that planet and live a sweet, happy life, I'm sure. The concept of this game is great, and the game is great for about 70% of it, but it does get to a point where it starts to outstay its welcome and get a little bit clunky. And don't worry guys, my dad definitely enjoyed this game as well, I promise. But the game started and went on, and I got some basic story related trophies like get to this part of this island and get to this part of this island, gather some resources here and there, the basics. And as the game is split up into different islands, naturally there is a trophy per island to go to every single landmark on said island. So of course I just made sure to do that while going through the game, just to avoid any clear up later on down the line. And I was starting to get towards the end of the game, but I managed to get one more trophy before then, which was for gathering a certain amount of findings in the game. Alright guys, we might have ran into a hiccup. I was meant to have the game basically platinumed by this time. I'm only just about to complete the game though. I'm only just about to complete the game. This was far longer than I anticipated it to be. Good game, albeit that final level was appalling. I thought that the final level was very much so, here's one thing you have to do, now do that 10 times, and it just went on and on. So the final level definitely put a damper on what was a pretty good game. I'm going to leave this for today, just finishing it, even though I did plan to platinum this today. So, 2 days left and 3 platinums to get. So just before going to bed to be all depressed about my, well, existence, to be honest, I managed to get 3 more trophies and complete the game, which did drain me a little bit. So I got up a bit earlier for this. I just skipped doing videos on reactions for this day just to focus on getting the platinum for this game. That included drugging loads of those goofy deers that you just saw, so that was kind of fun. I had to launch a certain object a certain amount of distance. I had to jump through all these rings in a certain amount of time, which was actually kind of fun. They had some fun trophies in this platinum, to be fair. I had to pick up one of these brutes and just carry them a certain amount of distance, which took about 5 minutes. I had to travel a certain distance without touching the ground, which was very easy if you could just find an open pathway that had no obstacles in front of you. But it was only a matter of time before we came across our first bugged trophy of the journey. And that went to Jet the Far Shore, and it was for trying to feed 5 of these random butterfly earwig things to a brute, which is these blue things. And I did this multiple times over and over again. You had to feed 5 within around 45 seconds. And even on PSN profiles it said that this was a bugged trophy, but I was kind of hoping I wouldn't be the one to suffer from that. But I was, and I had to do this around 10 to 15 times to finally get the trophy to pop, which wasted about 20 minutes. And for the other trophies, there was one where I had to get from one island to another certain island while staying 40 meters above the ground. I managed to get that on my second try. Then there was one where I had to fling a certain object in the air and then be able to grapple it before it touched the ground. There was a trophy to deal with these mechanical weird bird things using 3 different items. And then of course, like every game, there were collectibles dotted around the entire map, and I had to find 65 of those. Along with 8 of the hidden ones as well. I did have to search up a video on how to do these ones. And for the final trophy of the game, I had to pray to the gods, or the gods of Jet the Far Shore anyway. Quite a nice beard, to be fair. I respect that beard. But once I'd done that a certain amount of times, I managed to pop the final trophy of the game. And then along came our 7th platinum out of 10. And our penultimate platinum of the journey was called A Short Hike. Let me explain this game to you. You are a bird with a beak, and you have to climb to the top of a mountain to get cell service to call your mum. That's the storyline to this game, and I think it's amazing. This might go down as one of the greatest stories ever told, to be honest. No, I really enjoyed this game. It was very simple, very quick. This was the game that I replaced Broken Age with. Broken Age was admittedly a bit more of a longer platinum. It felt like it was going to be a bit more of a challenge, I guess you could say. I mean, it still wasn't, you know, Super Meat Boy or anything. But this one seemed like fun. I had to hunt and delve deep into the PlayStation Store to find it, but I'm happy I did because I actually ended up really enjoying this game. I mean, look at my guy. Look how cool he looks with his new One Piece hat, and you can fly around pretty fast. You can get around the map very quickly. It's kind of like just one big island. As for trophies, it took me an hour to get the first one, and that was for basically completing the game. And then I went back to the house of this bird thing and got maybe the greatest ending in gaming history.
Thanks for playing.
And then the cleanup trophies for A Short Hike. It was basically collect all the feathers. There were parkour challenges where you had to race this guy. You just had to finish all of those, and they were very easy. You had to put out 4 fires with water, which was, again, very easy. You had this volleyball game, which was kind of fun. I mean, it wasn't really. They were kind of using sticks, but you had to get a score of 30, and that felt good. I like this guy. He was probably my favourite character. Look at him.
Slow. Crap. It's true, man.
Yeah, I know. These boat physics are just some of the best I've ever seen, but there was a trophy just to kind of go through the race without hitting anything. Another trophy to take one of my best friends up to the top of the mountain and get a photo with them. Well, I mean, they took a photo of me, kind of, but I look kind of cool, so. As for collectibles, there's ones to get all the feathers, all the fish, and all the flowers in the game. And I did have to use a video to find the last couple on each of those. Kind of got bored of the map after a few hours of doing it. And as for the final trophy of the game, I saved this purposefully for the final trophy, but I had to eat a piece of toast. And for that, I got the trophy crispy. Hell yeah.
Crispy.
That was our penultimate platinum out of the 10, a short hike, and then it was time to move on to the final game of the 10 platinum journey. Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. What can we say about this game that's been out for, I mean, this version's not been out for too long, but Spyro 3 on PS1 was one of my favourite games as a kid, and I was saving this one because I platinumed Spyro 1 and 2 in the Reignite trilogy, and I never got round to the third game, so I thought this was the perfect time to do Year of the Dragon, so I thought I'd start it and see how many trophies we can get in one evening. And yeah, it turns out quite a lot. I'm not going to go through every single trophy as there are 41 including the platinum, but basically the strategy goes, you play through the levels, maybe you get the trophy because it's as simple as kill this enemy, and maybe you kill that enemy, and then you fly to another world, fight a boss, and then rinse and repeat that basically 4 times. That is the platinum journey to this game. And I didn't look up any of the trophies beforehand, just as I always do with every game, just went through the game, made sure there wasn't any missable trophies, which there wasn't, and got a decent amount of trophies during that as well. But trophies aside, I was having so much fun playing this game. It was like seeing an old friend that you haven't seen in like 20 years or something, because that's basically how long it was ago when I played Year of the Dragon. I actually specifically remember walking into game to buy this on the PS1 with my dad, and then I was just going home and playing it all day, so yeah, very fun game to go back to. Right guys, I'm going to leave it there for tonight, but I'm on the final world of Spyro. It's all going well, and I don't want to jump the gun, but I think we're in the clear. 50% on the platinum already. I need to get it by this time tomorrow, basically, which I think is going to be fine. Unless, like, the game glitches or something else happens. I don't know, but that seems... I can show you the dashboard now. I've been avoiding showing the dashboard because I didn't want to show any spoilers of games that were coming up, but yeah, we've got, I mean, you might see a spoiler for another platinum in a single video I might be going for soon, but other than that, yeah, all the games have been solid. We've not played one really bad one, so I'm going to do a ranking at the end. But and I will say it's kind of fun going through Spyro like 20 years later from when I would have played it. Because I mean, he's gone to bed now, but I've been playing it with my dad, and we used to play the original Spyro trilogy back in the day on the PlayStation 1. So kind of jumping forward a few years, different year, different TV screens, but which is quite cool. So looking like a boss. Wow, very impressive. Not quite as impressive as Spyro, but... And then it was time. Just doing more of the same, basically, but it was on the final day. I was feeling good about myself. I knew that we had this in the bag. Again, unless my PS5 just decided to spontaneously blow up, which it has done twice before since having a PS5, so that is entirely possible. But I would have run on foot, maybe, I don't know, I might have called an Uber, but I would have run on foot to go to game to buy a PS5 to make sure that this journey was complete. 10 platinums in 10 days, something I've never done before, and shout out to Mystic for being the first guy that I know of anyway to try and do this in video form. I love that video, and I do take inspiration from that of course as well. But they were all the trophies I just got naturally for going through the game. They were the ones that I didn't have to look up, and then I found my way to the final, very, very challenging final boss of the game. Yeah, fly around on a UFO and shoot the boss. And after that final boss was defeated, naturally there are a few trophies that I did miss out on by simply just because I didn't know the trophies existed. That included 4 specific players' Sparks levels, which were easily the weakest part of this entire run through. I had, I think, maybe out of 10, maybe like 1 out of 10 fun. Playing these levels, they were not enjoyable at all. But I managed to get all of them done. It felt like an extra 5 hours having to do them, but they were finished. And then it was on to the final few trophies of the game, like bouncing a bullet off the wall here. I had to shoot all the balloons down on this level. I had to find Hunter on this level. He was hidden very well in like this huge building. Great spot, Hunter, great spot. And then I had to destroy all these sarcophaguses. And it was on to the final trophy of the game. You can thank my dad for the terrible angle here. I don't know what was going on here. Like he's lopsided drunk. But I just had to charge up money bags and get all the money that I'd given to him back, which felt good. All the trauma through the 20 years of my life, I think falls down to having to give all my money to money bags through the years. So I'm very happy I managed to get my revenge finally. And there it was, the final trophy of Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon, which resulted in the 10th platinum, which concludes the 10 platinum journey. We did it. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And there we have it. We managed to actually pull it off and get 10 platinums. It's been a few days and I feel like a different person, to be honest. I feel like I've transcended. If I had to rank the games from my least favourite to favourite, and again, these aren't going to be reviews, I'm just going to rank them very quickly. In 10th place would be Spirit of the North. That would be a game I'd give a 5 out of 10 to. In 9th place would be A Memoir Blue. It just wasn't a game that connected to me personally, but it's still a game I'd give a 6.5 to. In 8th place, I'd have Submerged Hidden Depths. It was an enjoyable game, but there wasn't much to it overall. Again, a game I'd give a 6.5 to. In 7th place, I'd have A Short Hike. Another game I'd give a 6.5 to. In 6th place, I'd have The Artful Escape. Very beautiful looking game. I thought the dialogue was a little bit try-hard at times, but I get that was the point. That would be a game I'd give a 7 to. In 5th place, I'd have Jet the Far Shore. This felt like a game that I should have loved more, but it just kind of dropped the ball in the final act. It had the only buggy trophy out of the entire journey, and the controls were a little bit clunky at times. It'd still be a game I'd give a 7 out of 10 to overall. In 4th place, we'd have Metal Hellsinger, a game I'd give a 7 out of 10 to as well. In 3rd place, we'd have The Last Campfire. Really like the style of this game. The puzzles were pretty accessible, and I only had to search up 1 out of all of them, and it was literally the last one. This would be a game I'd give a 7.5 out of 10 to. In 2nd place, we'll have Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased with this one, and it is the only game on this list that I wouldn't say is an indie game as well, but I can't put my nostalgia aside, so I'd give a 7.5 out of 10 to this. And then in 1st place, I mean, I was kind of drooling over this one during this entire video anyway, but it will be Toem. This game flew by. I was never bored at any point. I love trying to find collectibles in games as well, and I just thought it was a cute, fun game, and it didn't outstay its welcome or anything. This would be a game I'd give an 8.5 out of 10 to. So that is the ranking. Thank you so much if you've watched all the way up to this point. I really do appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed, as this has taken a long time to edit. It's been the biggest edit I think I've ever done, but I had a lot of fun doing it, and if it does well, if it does well, I will do another one of these maybe next year or towards the end of this year or something. We could go for like 15 platinums in 10 days, try and make it even more difficult. We can try and do that, but yeah. The next platinum is of course going to be Star Wars Jedi Survivor, so I'll see you for then hopefully. Until then, take care. Peace.